Well then, hello everyone. I am Fiddler, also known as Ben. I'm in California, and we're going to talk about StarCraft today.
Yes. Hello. I named this series Learning the Craft because we are actually learning the craft. We're trying to learn how to play StarCraft 2 and just trying to learn more about esports in general, really. And especially this today's episode, just because we're going to be talking about just the general scene of esports, especially in StarCraft, but also just in all esports in general, right? So, for those of you who don't know, esports is just pretty much just gaming competitively. So that's just playing video games, and you're just like, hey, buddy, I think I'm better than you. So you're just like, okay, let's have a competition. Let's put some money on it or something. So they pay, and they
bro.
whoever
Do you
wins.
even?
And that's
do you
like
even pro MLG? Do you even like?
I'm talking about like the days. I'm talking about the days when they're just like, hey, the only game that exists right now is Pong. So they're just like, okay, I'm better. I think I'm damn much better at Pong than you. So let's play. So the one guy plays, get a high score. The other guy's just like, okay, I'm gonna play it. And I guess that's eventually they're just like, let's have a tournament. And eventually these tournaments get streamed live in Korea, South Korea, not North one. We don't talk about that Korea. They actually stream video games live on television. It's like it's their sport over there. It's like our football or hockey or curling. Curling.
So let me stop you there. So I've been doing some reading about Korea today and Korea at the beginning of StarCraft 2 specifically. And so there's two little bit misconceptions. So one, yes, esports are on national television, but it's not so much that the entire country, their version of soccer is esports. It's another thing they do, and especially the newer generation has come up with a lot of gaming habits. And it's even almost a problem in Korea. They are gamed so much that they have rehabilitation camps for like 15-year-olds who game too much.
Yeah,
actually, and they're like,
and
there's a legal curfew that either was suggested or is actually in place where youth cannot play between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. and they cannot be online. There's a password that they need.
I don't think that's actually true. I think it's just kind of like a bylaw in probably a couple places in South Korea because they have things called internet cafes where you just pay and you're just like, hey, I want to rent a computer that has a bunch of games on it for like an hour. And these people in South Korea would just go to these internet cafes and spend days there. Mm-hmm. And it started being a problem. So I'm sure it's just a problem. Sometimes it's a problem. Some people just spend like weeks and just are extremely unhealthy because of that. But at the same time, this creates a really nice culture of just gaming, esports, and just competitiveness in these video games.
So,
right?
Stepping back from the extreme side, now that you have the idea of how many people in South Korea do play, we go to the side of why do we talk about South Korea? We are here in North America as North Americans. And why do we talk about South Korea when talking about StarCraft 2? Well, that's because the KSPN, Korean StarCraft League, or Korean television streaming, basically.
There's a bunch of them. There's also ASL, which is, I think, is that another one? Or there's a bunch of StarCraft television series, or not series, but shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so basically these broadcast networks, these shows, these companies really control the market on who watches what video games. And when it comes to people viewing video games, which is what sponsors all these tournaments and all these events and really comes to and brings up a video game as far as popularity, is the amount of people interested in them. And as far as density of people interested in video games, we talk about Korea. And so stepping back from that now, we look at why is StarCraft 2 itself, why did it get very, very popular? And then very, very not so popular quite quickly.
Especially in the last couple years, yeah.
I've read a couple of articles, and go ahead and read online separately and do your own research. But I've read a couple articles, and I've discovered a few things. So the first thing of all is the biggest broadcasting organization in Korea, I believe it's called KSPN. At first, they boycotted streaming and competitively funding StarCraft 2.
Wait,
and this was because
when was this?
Like when StarCraft 2 came out.
Really? Why? I like unreleased
For years.
StarCraft 2. They're just like, no, we don't want StarCraft 2 on our televisions.
Even after release, up to about it took them about 6 months after releasing StarCraft 2. Not sure about that exact number, but it was a few months after release of StarCraft 2 before they stopped boycotting the game. Okay. And that was because they were making so much money off of StarCraft 1, and so there was so much viewership still for StarCraft 1 in Korea, that StarCraft 2, they didn't feel like it was worth the money, the expenditure, the business opportunity to actually pick it up as a video game.
Okay.
And the other reason that they were doing this is because they had just recently started picking up some other video games. For example, League of Legends, which is today the #1 viewed.
Yeah, it is the biggest esports in the world right now, and there's countless competitions, countless tournaments. There's the LCS, that's there's NA or North American LCS. There's the European LCS, and there's Korean LCS. That's kind of the main 3 ones that most people watch, most people know about. But there's ones everywhere. Like there's some in Brazil, like the World Championships that they had a couple months ago were based in Brazil, which was super cool because a lot of the Brazilian teams, a lot of Brazilian fan base got a little bit of exposure there. Now that people are now watching more like Brazilian teams and Brazilian pros.
That's awesome.
And
that's
so
awesome.
like it's insane like how many people in the world actually play League of Legends. It's crazy, and even not including people that play League of Legends, esports is still absolutely huge when you look at even other games like Overwatch, StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2, CS:GO, like all these games. There's insane viewership.
Oh, absolutely. And you can find numbers and many articles which actually compare top 5, top 6 sort of viewer esports around the world. And their names, like you were just been saying, StarCraft, StarCraft used to be. It's no longer there, near there. But we're talking about CS:GO, we're talking about League of Legends, we're talking about Dota. These are the big games that people are watching right now around the world. So stepping back from the fact that StarCraft 2 had some competition bringing up, the other thing that it had going against it was that huge mind blank. This is why we have Coca-Cola. It is here as a beverage to fill the time while I pull a blank.
While you drink Coca-Cola, I use M&Ms to get my spirits up, and get my energy out. Anyway, sorry, Ben, go on.
The other thing that stuttered StarCraft 2 is that once people started moving over to StarCraft 2 and it became a much larger of a game, we started getting investors, we started getting viewership, we started getting teams coming across from StarCraft 1 to StarCraft 2, and this was about a year and a half of the game when you saw some of the biggest pros coming across. We're talking, what's his name? The Terran player who was so good in StarCraft 1, he came over to StarCraft 2, played a very tank Marine. MMM.
Marine King. Is it
Marine King?
Yeah,
MKP,
Marine King. Yeah, Marine
MKP.
King. He was a god.
And people like him is what we're talking about. The StarCraft 1 legends who came across StarCraft 2 and started having a really great run, or sometimes not, depending on who.
I think Bomber was another one. Jaedong.
Jaedong.
Jaedong
was.
Jaedong's one of my favorite players. Even though he's a Protoss and I'm a Zerg, that I still obviously love Jaedong, his style of play.
Someday I'll turn you into a Protoss, Max.
No, I'm not. Actually, did you hear? I actually got into Platinum League in StarCraft, so what up?
What?
Yeah, I'm no joke in Plat.
You are not in Plat. I don't believe you. I won't believe you. I don't have the game open yet, and I'm just not going to look. No.
I will show you later. You know what? I'm going to show you right now. No. You need to see this. Let's go to... There we go. Platinum League.
What?
Yeah, I told you. And that's a funny thing about StarCraft. Like, me and Fiddler's history of StarCraft is that we used to play lots of StarCraft 2 on release. That's the Wings of Liberty expansion, right? So, back at this expansion, we played quite a bit, and then we just suddenly stopped. I think. The Heart of the Storm, we kind of slowed down and went to other games. This is the time when League of Legends was getting even bigger. I got back into League. Ben, I don't know what games you got into, but...
Everything.
Everything else.
What's about a time? Though I'll have to admit, I came back for a few StarCraft 2 arcade games every couple months.
Oh yeah,
it was like,
fun.
But the good old days. There's StarCraft 2 right over there. I'll be back soon, my beauty.
But you know what got us back into, like, the main thing that got us in is the announcement of StarCraft 1 Remastered. Let me tell you about this. StarCraft 1 Remastered was announced, I don't know, a couple months ago. And it's supposed to come out sometime this summer, so I'm super pumped. And it's pretty much just StarCraft Brood War, like the name suggests, remastered. It's going to have new graphics, but the game's not going to change one bit. It's still going to be just as difficult. It's still going to have just everything about it, all the little tweaks, all the little glitches that made StarCraft 1 so good and so hard to play. That's the thing.
Let me take you up on that there. Little glitches, little things that make a game a game. There's a lot of games here that were developed as video games, as entertainment centers to just have a lot of fun and not much else. StarCraft 2 was developed as an esport. Now, this is something that set it apart right off the bat. However, StarCraft 1, League of Legends, CSGO, these were all games that were developed to be fun games. Well, maybe not CSGO. CSGO is... we'll leave it in the corner for now. These were fun games developed to be games. And flaws like this, and things like 12 unit caps on how many you can select at once. These are nightmarish things for esports, but they made the game what it is.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what made this game, like, that's what made the pros so amazing and so, like, revered to. Like, you look at these pros and you're like, how are these people doing this? How are they controlling 3 different control groups, only having 12 units at a time, and a lot of time, and attacking simultaneously while like going back to the base, creating more units? Like, you could compare these guys practice so much that they're so good at this game. Insane. But yeah, that's pretty much what got us back into StarCraft 2. That's a little bit of background on us. That's how we got back into StarCraft 2, and that's how this series kind of got born. We told her I initially started the series, or started thinking about the series. I'm like, oh, we should try to do some educational series, and then now it's kind of turning into a more discussive series, which I really like. I like discussing these type of things, just talking about the origins of StarCraft, where it came from, the Korean scene,
Yep.
and why we actually love this game. So, yeah, so is there anything else about the Korean scene that you were talking about?
Not too much. I was just finishing a point on StarCraft 2 when the pros came over. So let me just finish the quick point there. This is the last point, I promise, about StarCraft 2.
Dude, just go rant. I love going on tangents like that. Like
So when the pros came over, StarCraft 2 really started to get a bit of life in it. And this is the glory days of the sort of 3 years, I would give it, give or take, of glory that StarCraft 2 got. You saw the big announcers come in. Tastosis, Day 9. Lots of wonderful people coming into the sport and making it a sport and a fully meaty sport as far as a community and as far as entertaining to watch on television. So, and then we started seeing that the numbers, as far as viewerships, started going down. And we're talking, this is an era about halfway through, halfway between Legacy of the Void and Heart of the Swarm releases.
You mean Heart of the Swarm and Legacy of the Void? Okay, you had them switched.
Yeah. Sorry, yes.
Legacy of the Void came after Heart of the Swarm, yeah.
So, steam that.
Yeah.
Hashtag mention Day 9. Oh! And at that point, we started losing viewership. And then what slowly happened then is KSPN slowly stopped funding a lot of their bigger teams in StarCraft 2. And we saw the pros start dropping like flies because their gamer houses, which they were practicing in and they were living their lives in, started not existing.
And this
not
is
for
pretty
StarCraft
much,
2 anyway.
Yeah, and this is pretty much mostly in Korea, but this kind of slowly transitioned to like North America and Europe. And all these other gaming houses in North America and Europe slowly started going down after all these Korean companies stopped funding these pros and stopped funding the game, right?
So, this is what happened to what the recent decline ended up today, StarCraft 2 being less popular of a sport, but still loved and beloved as the successor to StarCraft 1, as we all know and love it to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the state of the game today is there are still pros out there. They are mostly self-funded. There aren't the big gaming houses for StarCraft 2 itself. A lot of the StarCraft 1 players went back to StarCraft 1, and StarCraft 1 itself is big and still alive even 20 years after, even after StarCraft 2, surprisingly enough. This is why you see announcers going back and announcing StarCraft 1, and this is why Blizzard made the business decision of doing the remaster of StarCraft 1. Not changing the game, but profiting off of everyone's interest of the game itself. And you know what? We all want it to look better. I mean, who wants, crappy graphics? If they can make the same game with better graphics and people will buy that, I mean, Blizzard is making such a great decision making this remaster. Not only financially, but I'd say even for the fans. The community is going to get a great boost from this.
Yeah. Actually, that reminds me, the whole thing about Tastosis, and StarCraft 1 coming back. I have a clip. Look at this. Alright, here we go. This is ALS. This got released last year, actually. This is a tournament last year that was streamed live of StarCraft 1. I mean,
okay, from Star League.
Yeah, yeah. And, like, look how hype and well-made this video is. It's insane.
Holy shit.
And you're seeing a lot of these, like, there's new names in there, like Effort. I've never seen Effort before, but he's one of the best players in Korea right now.
I recognize Hero, I don't recognize Effort.
Hero, Flash, all these people, yeah.
Flash, yeah.
And you will soon see that they mention that in here, this is their first time in over, like, 8 years or something, that there's a full English cover of this stream, right?
By the way, I don't have any volume in this currently, so I will simply have to enjoy the picture.
Yeah, just enjoy the picture. Sure,
that's the freaking StarCraft League, not StarCraft 2, but StarCraft 1, StarCraft Brood War.
There's Tastosis.
And this is going to be the first
English
Tastosis!
Cast, by the way, if
done
you want
out
the
of the
announcer pack,
studio,
get it. It's
from
so good.
start to finish, Brood War in English, in I think 8 years. No. 7 years, maybe 6.5.
It's been a very long
I think
time.
it's 7 years.
Yeah, see, right there, they just finished saying, like, this is the first English cover in 8 years. It's been so long. And back then, it was these two guys. It was just Tastosis, right? Like, there was no one else really doing English cover of StarCraft in Korea at the time. Right.
And there's been so many English StarCraft 2 casters, this really surprises me that they didn't exist for StarCraft 1. I guess StarCraft 1 really didn't leave Korea for, well, the longest time.
Well, yeah, StarCraft 1 really didn't get a good handle on anywhere else other than Korea. Like, just the Koreans just love StarCraft 1. They're obsessed about this game. And North America, they didn't really catch on that. And then when North America started catching on to the whole esports scene in general, League of Legends was getting big. So North America really hooked on to League of Legends, and now that's the big thing in North America especially. And it's also a big thing in Korea, but now we have this. So maybe, what my prediction is as soon as StarCraft Remaster it gets released, and Korea really goes, if they go absolutely crazy about this game, North America might actually start going crazy as well, and they might start funding these tournaments for StarCraft 1 in North America.
You say North America, I say foreigners, Max. It's not just about North America. It's about everybody else but Korea. Let's be real here.
Yeah, it's true. Korea is just center of the world in esports. Like, you just think of Korea, and everyone else is just around them, just watching them, what they do, and it's like, oh, they did this? Okay, let's copy it. Copy exactly what they do. It's working. And that's what they do for pros. Like, people just watch Korean pros all the time. Like, this guy knows what he's doing, right? And
so I was actually doing some research.
Yeah.
And as far as, okay, so everybody knows Koreans are amazing at video games. Actually,
it's just the stereotype of them. Yeah.
Actually, there are statistics as to which games they're actually good at and which games they're not.
Interesting.
North America sucks on all fronts, however. But it comes down
to
there are European, so League of Legends, Korea dominates that.
SKT1 has won every single Worlds in a long time.
Like, the runner-ups to every major tournament are Korean, and the winners are Korean. But you look at Dota, CSGO, I'm running out of... There's 3 or 4 other games that I'm just not pressing my name on right now. Overwatch. Absolutely
Heroes
Overwatch.
of the Storm. Hearthstone.
Heroes of the Storm, not so much. Hearthstone. Hearthstone is
really
surprisingly huge as far as viewership.
Oh, yeah.
And at none of those games are they as high... nearly. Even in Heart of the Swarm? No. Hearthstone. In Hearthstone, they actually aren't even a runner-up for the final tournament. They had one player who made it to the World Finals for Hearthstone, and he lost in the first elimination round.
Oh yeah, Quake as well. Don't forget about Quake. Quake is old, but it's still around-ish. And actually, the one thing that I should mention that in the E3's coming up right now, or happening right now, one of those, and I think, is it a new Quake game might be coming out, or...
Can't remember if it's Quake or if it's a Quake remastered. I heard some stuff about that.
Yeah, I heard something about Quake coming out, or I also heard Doom, a bunch of new Doom games are coming out, and they're just remastering a bunch of these games. But anyway, that's E3. That's a whole different thing. So let's get back on. We will cover this in the podcast that I'm actually going to be doing right after this. Like as soon as we're done here, we're going to do a podcast with Volcanic Team. So. Talking about E3. But anyway. Oh yeah, Katz just said it's already been announced, the new Quake game. The closed alpha is already out, so wow. We don't know. Maybe Quake is going to be the next big esport that's going to just shoot in viewership. But I doubt that. Seeing how we already have a bunch of really good FPS games that are really big in the esports scene, like CSGO and Overwatch. Those are huge games. And I don't think Quake will still be pretty big, but it won't overtake any of those two.
Especially with Overwatch being so recent. I mean, it's just over a year old now. I mean, the hype is only getting going for Overwatch as far as
I think they have their legs down. I think they have good, decent viewership. They have their solid teams. They have the good strategies now, and they're just now picking up momentum and building up as an esport.
So, okay. So we've talked a lot about stuff, and I feel like I'm running out of steam as far as talking about StarCraft the world at large. Let's talk about what we really want to know today, and how do we play this wonderful game?
Yeah, how do we get better at StarCraft 2? That's the thing. How do you so actually, one of the biggest things, I think, the first thing you do, if you've never touched StarCraft 2, you don't even know what StarCraft 2 is, go in the game, you just play the single-player campaign. The single-player campaign for this game is freaking amazing.
It teaches you a lot.
That too, yeah. It teaches you how to control units. It teaches you how to build bases. It's very good for that. So, if you've never touched StarCraft 2, just play the campaign. If you never touched StarCraft 1, play the single-player campaign. It is fantastic. And I feel like that's a mistake a lot of games these days are doing. They're releasing a huge multiplayer game, but they're not making a single-player campaign for it. You're just like, oh, like what happened for Star Wars Battlefront.
Titanfall.
Yeah, Titanfall as well. So many of these amazing, the gameplay is really well made and, really fun. It's really fun. But there's no single-player. There's nothing to really get you in. There's no, initial way to really get you into the game and really get you good at the game. You just kind of gets dropped into this giant pit of multiplayer and you slowly die. And that's what happened to the game. It died.
There are exceptions to the rule. Overwatch, League of Legends, for example.
Yeah,
but I think there's an interface, there's a UI finesse to the software engineers out there to how you design the interface to make it intuitive and easy enough to learn that you don't need this slow bring up of, okay, here's what this button does and this is why it does it and so on.
Yeah.
There's a huge finesse and a huge talent out there to how to make these things easy to understand, but complex enough to be able to be taken to the next level.
Yeah, that's the thing. It has to be complex enough. So I think that was the big mistake with Titanfall and Battlefront. You got to a point where you were a decent player, but you couldn't really you can't really make yourself win. You might get a couple friends together and win a couple games, but the skill cap is really, really short. It's really hard to get really good at those games and win. And that's the thing that really, really well with Overwatch and League of Legends. League of Legends, insanely high skill cap. There's hundreds of champions. It takes a long time to initially get good at the game, learn all the champions, learn the map and everything. And same thing with Overwatch. They're still building up the character pool, but the character pool is big enough that it does take a long time for you to learn every single one and know how to do every single one and then work with the team. So I think that's what these games do really well, and that's the huge mistakes they made with Battlefront and Titanfall. Anyway, we went on a huge tangent again. I feel like we're gonna do that like so many times. Like
Captain
we get into a topic
Tangent.
and we're just like, here's StarCraft, and we're just like, oh, look at this, oh, wow, and then okay, back to StarCraft because StarCraft is freaking amazing, and let's go back to it. Yeah, StarCraft. Because StarCraft. So yeah, we were talking about how to get into StarCraft. If you've never heard of it, play a single player campaign. That's the first step.
Okay.
And then after that, if you're really interested in getting competitive with it, if you're really interested in you just want to play the game as best as possible, and you want to learn how these pros are doing, I don't know, 150 actions per minute, and even over that. Like right now, I think my average is like 130. Yours is like 100.
110.
110. All right, Ben, calm down. But anyway, let's jump into actually the menu. Do we got StarCraft here? There we go. Here we go. There we go.
Max, watch my Skype window.
Oh, it's fine. It'll be fine.
Okay.
I could just block out the Skype thing, but it looks fine. Your thing's small enough that.
You do see yourself in the bottom. That's all I wanted to point out.
Hmm.
You do see your OBS in the bottom, sort of thing.
Oh yeah, it's so small that they won't see.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, so yeah. So you finished the whole campaign, right? You finished Heart of the Swarm, all of these. Ooh, what's this? Oh, I've never seen that.
So, Covert Ops and the co-op campaign is another really fun thing to do, and I want to stream it. Max, it is one of the things we need to do.
Sure.
We need to play the co-op campaign together.
Let's do it. Because
it is fun and entertaining and interesting. Anyway, for another day.
For another day. We're talking about if you want to get into StarCraft. If you have no clue what this game is, you completed the campaign, it was super fun, but you don't know what hotkeys are, you don't know what any of these terms are, what builds are, what any of these crazy stuff. So here, let's go into multiplayer and go into training. Training is awesome. I played this game a lot, and when I was getting back into it, I played all the training missions, and they were super sweet.
Doing the training alone and knowing a little bit about the game got me up into gold, hands down.
Yeah, just doing training.
I'll bet you if I redid the game today, I would be above the silver 3 that I am.
Nice. Yeah.
Training is actually really good, and actually training it like it's supposed to. Not just so you pass it, but so that you master each one of the trainings. And don't be scared to go into the other races' trainings, because you start understanding how the other races work, why Zerg is just such a scumbag race, and why Protoss is just so amazing.
Protoss is probably the worst race. I would pick Terran over Protoss. That's really saying something. Like, I was actually debating, like, when I was getting back into StarCraft, like, going just straight to Terran. Just, like, screw Zerg. It was too difficult before. But anyway, you say that you finish doing this. You finish all these missions, and you're just like, hey, I'm actually going to use this. I know what hotkeys are. I know what all these things are. If you don't know what hotkeys are referred to just your keyboard. Pressing buttons that... Actually, let me show you a bit. Actually, it'd be easier to show you in just a custom game. Let's create a game.
You should probably add me to a party instead.
I'm just going to go against AI and just show... Yeah, sure, easy. Let's go medium.
No, I'm on stream.
Hey, no, this will be quick. This will be quick. Don't worry. I'm just showing, like, if you once you get into a game, how to start off a game. Okay. If this game will load. But I think after I'm done this and after we talk about it more, I think that's pretty much all I really want to cover today, though.
Okay.
And then next week we actually get into the more in-depth stuff like builds and economy and macro. Ooh, what is macro? Oh, and then you start talking about micro, and you're like, oh, how do I micro and macro? And you're just like, I don't know what these terms are, and then you just flip out. We'll get to that. Don't worry. We'll get to that. Here we go. Anyway, these are Zergs. These are my dudes. You jump into the game. You obviously, to win the game, you need minerals, right? So they automatically get sent to minerals. This Overlord, you can do whatever you want to it. You eventually, what a lot of people do is they just send it to the enemy base. Yeah, they just want to send it there. And notice on my screen, it's actually an option to do this, but notice all these little letters. You see all the letters for selecting stuff? So at the beginning, you're probably gonna be like, ah, screw it. I don't care about those letters. Those don't mean anything. You click here. Oh, I'll select on my larva. Let's make a drone and send them here. All right, great. That's how you do it. But hotkeys, the beauty of hotkeys is look how fast I could do it like that. See how fast I made a...
They're called drones, Max. They're called drones.
Oh, yeah, drones. Oh my god. So the beauty of hotkeys, it allows you to just select a bunch of stuff and just do a bunch of stuff without having to move your mouse all the way from here. Ugh. Clicking there. Ugh. Yeah, that's a pain. Oh god, you don't want to do that. So yeah, that's pretty much hotkeys, and that's pretty much all I want to cover. See, pretty much covering what hotkeys are. Anyway.
This is the hotkey dance, by the way.
I did great. Look at that APM. So when someone says APM, they mean actions per minute. And I'm gonna say this now. APM does not matter. Do not
never watch that number.
Yeah, do not base your skill off APM. It does not matter. You can see a pro player have 100 APM and beat someone who has like 300 APM. It does not matter.
Let's just talk about why. A lot of people say it doesn't matter, but the main reason why APM doesn't matter is because APM is a result. It's an output of everything else you do in the game. It's an output of your macro. It's an output of your micro. And the reason we do that is actions per minute is the amount of stuff you do per minute. So you need to have stuff to do in order to actually do a lot of stuff in a short amount of time. You need to think of everything in a row before you can actually do all those things all very fast. And so APM is sort of the output. It's the result of all the interesting things.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, when you're playing StarCraft, don't mind about APM, because APM's dumb. It's just, actually, another thing I want to cover here is let go of your ego when you play this game.
Yes,
I know it's because as soon as you start playing this game a lot and you start playing any game, actually in life in general.
Not in life. Let's just talk.
No,
like
it's a good life lesson.
League,
you have to learn
StarCraft,
how to be humble in defeat. So you have to learn when you lose the game, you're just like, hey, I'm not gonna be salty about this. I'm not gonna dwell on the fact that, oh, he beat me. He had so many more units than me. I don't know how he did that. That's crazy. And you have to learn, like, oh, what I did wrong. What points do I have to do to improve my game so next time that strategy does not work on me. And also, be humble in defeat, but also don't be a dick, and when you win, just go, oh, GG easy. Oh, this noob just did not know what he was doing. I'm so much better than him. Do not do that. Don't be a douche. Be nice to people. Just say, hey man, that was a great game. I think I played very well. You played very well as well. But I practiced a little bit more, so that's why I won. But just be nice about it. And then actually, so when you do that, it just makes it easier. And when you play the game, don't expect to win. You're gonna lose so many games. You're gonna like, if you jump into like ranked right away, you're gonna be put in bronze. Accept it. You're new to the game. Don't dwell on the fact that you were put in bronze. And just kind of just look at the game and like, hey, how am I gonna get out of bronze? These facts will get me into the next league. And yeah. And you have to look at that your rank is not a good measurement of skill. It's a measurement of progress. It's how many hours you've spent on this game, and it's the type of reward you get from practicing a lot. But the journey there, you will lose a lot of games, and you'll be in bronze, you'll be in silver, and then you get to be like me in plat. I just like rubbing it in because
Max, you better start playing games, because if I don't see your rank at least go up or go down, I know that you did your 10 games, got to platinum, and then sat there doing nothing.
Actually, no. I did my placement matches and got to gold 1. And lost another 2 games, and after that, won like 4 games in a row, and then got into plat 3.
It only took you four games to get up into plat?
Yeah.
Dude,
Actually, in
StarCraft
one of the games,
is so small.
in one of the games, it was really funny. This guy, he put random for like his race. As soon as we got in the game, he's like, "Oh right, I can't play Zerg." GG, leaves the game. I'm like, "Wait, what?" He played random when he couldn't play one of the races, and this really bothered me.
Like his strategy is flawed.
Because I think what I assume his strategy was is that, like, oh, I'm super good at Terran Protoss. I could wreck anybody. Like, I could have 100% win a race in both those races. But I have no clue how to play Zerg. So I'm going to accept the fact that I'm going to lose 1/3 of my games and win 2/3 of my games. That's easy. That means I'll rank up. That's a great strategy. I think winning 2/3 of my games, the math works out. And I feel like that was... Yeah, don't do that. Don't play random. You only play random if you've played this game for years and you're just like, I know all these races. I don't care which ones I play.
Actually, I disagree with you.
Really?
Random is a great way to learn the other races. However, it is not the first thing you should do, and you need to go into random thinking about, I am here to learn other races.
Okay.
I am not here to win every game. I'm here to learn other races. Perhaps lose, but learn.
Obviously.
So anyway, it's your approach to it, and I do think random is a tool, like a lot of other things in this game.
Yeah, that's completely fair. That's a good argument. Anyway, I think that's pretty much everything I really wanted to cover. That's the basics. Oh yeah, one more thing.
We promise next stream will be so much more interesting.
Well, yeah, this one was just mostly talking about just the basics of StarCraft, what StarCraft is. We went on a little bit tangent of what esports is in like the whole thing. But if you really want to learn how to play better, watch streamers, watch pros, watch people that are really good at this game, and just copy them. There is no, like, you're not going to be arrested for copying them. You're not going to be hated for just for copying someone's how they play the game. Like, that's one of the things that if you copy, it doesn't matter. As long as, and that's honestly how you get better.
Max. Let me give them an alternative. What they could do is they could go play 4v4s and watch beautiful strategies like cannon rushes, probe rushes, proxy gates, lane rushes, all these beautiful strategies.
They're bad strategies. It's cheesy.
No, they're wonderful strategies.
I don't use any of them, man. Right now, the reason I'm in plat because I play the macro game. Macro game is good. Macro game is lovely because you just play the slow game. So when someone says play the macro game, it pretty much means they play the slow game. And if someone plays like a micro-intensive game, that means they play very fast and very early on. And they do the 6 pool or 9 or whatever you call it these days. Like Legacy of the Void is different from everything that I used to know. A lot of the stuff I used to know.
Legacy of the Void is a very fast-paced version of StarCraft that even I'm having, still to this day, a lot of trouble just getting used to the timings and how fast everything really is and how pushed together everything was. Like, I'm used to, okay, your 3-minute ward gate, your 6-minute all-in, your 8-minute mid-game. Like, these are numbers I'm used to, but instead, that 3-minute ward gate is now a 1 minute or something like that. I think it's a 1 minute or 1 minute and a half. It's freaking insane how short and how quick everything just hits you. Bam, bam, bam.
Anyway, that's honestly going straight into what I wanted to talk about next episode. Just builds, talking about micro and macro, and like how to really plan out your game so you're consistent every single game. You do exactly the same things at the exact same time. But anyway, that's for next time. You know what? Thank you for joining us. I had a great time. I thought this was fantastic, Ben. Thank you for coming after your work and talking about StarCraft. I know we love talk about StarCraft.
Thank you very much. No, thank you. It was wonderful being here.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully we can teach some people.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. See you next time, guys.
Peace.